Hello once again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. This week is episode 107.
107?
Yes, absolutely. And we are talking about Atlantis.
Are we really?
And maybe some other lost cities as well.
Okay, yeah.
So stick around if you want to hear more. Hello there, Dad, who is my father, and my name is Connor, and I am your son.
Okay, hello there, Connor, who is my son, and I am the father, and my name is David.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. I'm a lot less tired than last week.
You seem a little bit more buoyant. Even the introduction
very
seems
floaty.
Yes, you do seem a little bit more sort of with it. I must admit.
Yeah.
So hopefully
Last week I was very tired.
You were, yeah.
And last week, because the reason we recorded last week, didn't we? And we recorded between. So I was doing a split shift at work. So I'd worked in the morning, and I was in between bit, and I was going to be working in the evening as well. The thing I was doing in the evening ended up being cancelled, so I actually finished an hour earlier than I should have done.
Right, and did that cheer you up at all?
Somewhat, but I was a bit frustrated.
Okay. Well, I bet you had a really relaxing weekend though, didn't you?
No,
No?
it wasn't very relaxing.
Did you not book in some time to just do nothing like you keep saying you're going to do?
I tried to on Sunday.
You did?
So, do you want to hear something spooky?
Go on.
So on Friday night, yeah,
Right.
when I was laying in bed trying to go
Okay.
to sleep after
Right.
my stressful day,
Yeah.
and I was laying there,
Yeah.
bang! Picture frame fell down from the wall.
Actually
behind
made
you.
me jump then.
Yeah,
even
but I went
though-
bang.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the picture that was on the wall was a picture of you, wasn't it?
Oh, weird.
It was the drawing of you for Father and Sundays.
About what time was that?
Bang! To make you jump again.
No, don't do that. People might be driving when you...
Oh, yeah.
We've had trouble about that before. Yeah, go on. So, about what time was it?
Probably about
Because I did
11ish.
fall over in the evening at one point.
No, you
I
were
wonder-
asleep because I
I
went in
wonder
and looked
if-
at you.
Yeah, but I must have fallen over and fell into bed because that was exactly the same time as my picture flew off the wall.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you don't
actually-
believe in ghosts, do you?
No. Well, you're not a ghost.
I bet you do now, though.
You're not a
Poltergeist. You're like, what are you talking about? No, I'm not.
No, but you're saying you're the one that ended up meeting
someone's
knocked off.
some entity is obviously moving things in your room. It couldn't have been me because I was asleep, you reckon? So it's got to be something else, some other force.
I reckon what it was is the command strips that was holding it up just gradually became looser.
Oh, that's what all people who don't believe in ghosts say.
It's
But
always
it's
to do with
command strips, isn't it? You're one of the command strip brigade, are you? All right. Well, you got to open up a little bit more, I think. So that frightened you, did it?
It made me jump. Didn't
Yeah.
frighten me.
And you thought that you passed that jump onto me then, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any damage, by the way, to my
Jumper?
picture?
No.
No?
Why would it matter though?
Well, because it's my picture.
Well, it's not your picture though.
It's
is
like
it?
a Dorian
Do you own
Gray
it?
thing. If that picture...
Do you own it?
Huh?
Do you own it?
No. But if that picture is damaged, then I get slightly better looking. Whereas if I am damaged, then that picture will get slightly better looking.
I thought the picture's looking pretty good.
Thanks very much. So, what else did you do at the weekend? Anything exciting?
Barbecue.
Barbecue, yeah. Another one.
Nah, or another.
You do-
You're joking.
You've had
Nah,
three on
another
you've had
one.
3 on a trot, haven't you?
4-ish.
Talking of trots, I had a
Oh
bad
no, sorry,
stomach the weekend.
free-ish, free-ish, but we'll be 4-ish
Yeah.
because next weekend
so
we've
right,
got a
so
barbecue.
yeah, I mean, this weekend just gone. Can't say it was a fantastically busy weekend for me. I did do a few bits and bobs, but
Would you like me to ask about it? How was your weekend, Dad?
I can't say I did a great deal, and it was very busy, but I did a few bits and bobs. Anyway, what I did do is start to plan for this week and next weekend, because next weekend we've got another busy weekend because it's baby David's first birthday. Before that, it's not so baby Mary's birthday. I wasn't going to say how old she is, which is your mum, and my wife, which is on Wednesday. So there's lots going on all the time, isn't there? And we'll be travelling up at the end of the week to where your sister and my daughter lives.
Yeah.
In order to go to this party.
And the thing is, with with the whole happenings going on, the next weekend, because we're both going to be travelling there.
Yeah.
Which means that we're not going to be present to be able to record an episode.
And I'm actually away for a week.
So we're actually recording this episode. Yeah, and you're away for a week as well. And so we're recording this episode a little bit early. For that, really, means that, we'll go about saying it now, it means that we were releasing this episode that weekend. But it does mean the weekend after may be at risk of not necessarily having an episode.
We may not have an episode, but I constantly work. My mind is constantly at work.
We've got an idea of something that we might be able to...
Yeah, but
we should be able to get together.
We'll see how we go, but we won't say what's going to happen the following week because we don't know if anything's going to happen the following week. But if not, it'll just be the week after that.
Yeah.
Is that a guarantee?
Yeah. And what's good is normally when we've taken breaks, it's been forced. So we've not been able to say anything.
Yeah. We have been unaware until such time as we said, you ain't going to be able to do this, are you? And then that was it. Right. So
but I'm able to do this one.
Good. So, are you ready?
Did you cancel out that good with too many goods?
No. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready for me to take you on a journey?
No.
A journey into the unknown.
I can't go anywhere tonight, thanks.
Well, it can in your mind, can you go on a journey in your mind?
No, I've got too much to do.
For myths and legends. No, just me then.
Just you.
What are you going to do then while I'm doing it? While I'm on this journey?
Can
you at least make some sandwiches? What?
Sit here and watch you.
Okay.
Go on a journey.
Right. Atlantis.
Close my eyes.
You can always close your eyes if you like.
No, you can't always close your eyes. How about when I'm driving?
No. But while we're doing this,
you're allowed to blink though. I learnt that.
Yes, it's best to.
I've just been driving along with my eyes wide open the entire time.
That's not a good idea.
No.
Atlantis.
Very blurry.
Right. Now, just briefly, what do you think that means? What does Atlantis mean to you?
Questions. What does Atlantis mean to me?
Yeah, just very, very briefly.
Wet world with cities lost, blog flume.
Oh, right. So you're talking about a ride in Florida, but basically it's about this lost kingdom, right? So do you know where the origins of
Lost
Atlantis?
Kingdom or Lost City?
So it's the same sort of thing.
No, is there a king? There's a fly in my
We
head.
don't know.
There's a fly in my...
That's the point.
Did you hear that in the
You heard
microphone?
that on the
Yeah.
microphone then. That came through. A bit like that police car the other day that you thought you didn't hear. Right, anyway. So, I went back. We may have to break here because there's a fly trying to get in on the podcast, which is going to be really annoying.
Should we do an interview?
No, we're not doing an interview with a fly. No, we had that with a knoth.
He's going to come over.
No, I've got to talk to you about Atlantis. Oh, for God's sake. If you're going to do anything useful, get rid of that fly.
He wants to get rid of me.
So where did it start?
You're going to have to leave.
Right. You ready now?
The fly's gone.
I'm just going to read out some bits and pieces.
Very angry you are.
Well, honestly.
I wish you'd get on with it.
Right. Plato, the bearded Greek philosopher, was born in Athens in around 424 BC.
He's the inventor of plates.
That's before crisps. He was a great academic and founded the Academy, which I believe it was a singing and musical arts. No, it wasn't. Where he taught the philosopher's
stone.
The philosophical. The philosophy doctrines that would later become known as Platonism.
Philosophy doctrine.
Yes. They're words that shouldn't be together.
Philosophical.
Yes. So basically, he had a philosophy and he taught it at the Academy, and it has now become known as Platoism. Plato wasn't his real name, right? A little bit of background on him because we're going to mention him. But a nickname given to him by his wrestling coach.
Oh,
right?
nice.
We've all been there. What was
Yeah.
your nickname? What did your wrestling coach call you?
Big Nips.
Did it? Big Nips? Strangely quiet, mine was. And his real name is believed to be Aristocles.
Oh.
Aristocles. Not Aristotle, but Aristocles.
Oh,
Whilst
that's another
going through one
philosopher.
of his particularly bushy beard periods, Plato writes Timaeus and Critias, where he first mentions Atlantis, but only briefly. Right? He describes it as a naval empire that ruled all western parts of the known world. After it failed in an attempt to defeat ancient Athens, it falls out of favour with the gods and submerges into the Atlantic Ocean. Right, now this, from all accounts, is a works by Plato that was talking about democracies and dictators and such like, and about civilization, and it was all to do with that. So it was probably, they speculate, but probably him just giving an example of something that could happen. And the fact that, at the time, the Greeks, God-fearing, that part of it comes in where, because they try to defeat Athens, the gods were unhappy with them, and subsequently an act of God happened, and Atlantis was submerged into the Atlantic Ocean. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you think of if you say to most people, about a lost city or something like, they would say Atlantis. It's used in conversations about that sort of thing all the
And
time.
casinos.
Quite, yeah. And we'll come
Yeah.
to that. But basically, people will say it's this version of Atlantis. Now, no one's ever discovered Atlantis. No one knows exactly where it is.
No one knows if it even existed.
It even existed. And it also is seen as something more mythical. Like, was it a city that was inhabited by normal people that was submerged into water, or was it a city in the water inhabited by people who are able to live within the water?
So, my take on this,
Yeah.
is Brothers Grimm, we've spoken about Brothers Grimm and fairy tales before.
Yeah.
People come up with fairy tales that are to scare children into behaving themselves, essentially,
Yeah.
a lot of the time. Like, don't eat apples from strange witches, and
Don't run with scissors.
don't, what was that one?
Don't flush a toilet when you're sitting on it.
No.
Oh, you're talking about purely Brothers Grimm.
I'm talking about fairy tales.
Oh, right, sorry,
and,
no,
like, don't
those were
lie
just
because your nose would grow
what
longer.
my mum told me.
And then don't touch little pricks.
No?
That was one of them as well.
Right.
That was Sleeping Beauty, that one.
Okay.
But I wonder, I'm not done.
Okay.
And
So I didn't say you were done.
No, but you seem to go back to your paper as if you're about to read something.
I was
do
just
a monologue,
looking about.
But I've got something
no,
to
I'm
say.
not going to do a monologue. I'm just looking to see, like, you're talking about some of the things I've written down here. So obviously I don't have to say them again.
Oh, okay. Well,
Continue.
what I was going to say is maybe it was put together as a brief scare tactic. Behave yourselves, or you might end up like Atlantis.
Well, I think it
Who's Atlantis? City that went missing.
is an example of a city, a civilization that tried to overthrow another civilization, and failed. And it's like a lot of these things, but it's you've got people all around the world.
Aye.
Yeah, Lisa Stansfield, for a start, she often dives for in different places looking for Atlantis. But no, people do it. We've seen documentaries, programs on it, and yet we're talking about somewhere that probably never existed in the first place, or certainly didn't exist in the way that people imagined it was.
And a lot of people imagine it
Which
to
is
be
a bit sad, to be honest, but,
A lot of people nowadays imagine it to be an underwater city.
Yeah, an underwater city with people living in it as is, as if it was something like,
Mermaids.
we're big fans of Marvel and not so much DC, but that sort of thing. So an Aquaman, them sort of cities. What was the latest one that we saw? I can't think what the guy's name is, but basically people living in
Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, people living under the water, and that is something that's looked at, but he just talks about it being a sort of sophisticated human civilization, definitely human.
But if it existed, why has only one person ever said anything about it? And why does one person appear to know about it?
Well, quite. It could be that it was known by different names. Certainly since Plato...
like the one from Mighty Boosh.
...wrote that book.
I go by many names.
You go by many names. Loads of people have written about Atlantis on the back of that, with no more information than
fictional,
what they've got.
Like the film.
But I'm not
Journey
even
to
talking.
Atlantis.
Yeah, but certainly now people will write novels and that about this sort of thing as
Poseidon's Fury.
Fantasy novels and things like that. And as you say, we've been on rides and things like that to do with it. However, people are writing things about Atlantis in a more sort of educational way throughout the ages as well, and that's only on the back of the fact that the philosopher Plato, 2 times heavyweight wrestler
champion
of the world, it was only because that's been cited in his work, and he's such an intellect, or seen as such an intellect, it was carried forward like that. But really, that's madness.
Every day, in every way, the things people do, the things people say, just irritate me, please sedate me. These are the things that really get my goat.
Getting on an empty train and finding a seat near the window, only to be joined by another passenger a few stops down who decides to sit opposite me even though there are empty seats and sections all through the carriage. So we've talked a bit about whether we believe it or not, or where the oranges. Where are the oranges? We haven't left the oranges again, have we? We always go.
Maybe that's the fly. The fly's in the room.
Oh, that fly is really getting on my nerves. Yeah. In fact, it was very close to being what really gets my goat. That fly. It's really annoying, isn't it? Why do I do that?
Well, keeps flying directly and landing on my head.
Yeah, it does.
In my eyes.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah.
But it's not like a proper fly. It's not like a house fly.
What is it then? What sort of fly is it?
A fruit fly.
Oh, you don't want it to be a fruit fly. No. Anyway.
It's like a smaller fly.
It's
not like a zip fly or a butterfly.
A butterfly, a dragonfly?
That's a button fly.
I've seen a house fly.
But I've never seen an elephant fly.
You've never seen an elephant fly. Okay, look. Where is Atlantis supposed to be?
Spain.
Wow. Bang, straight in with Spain, are you?
No.
Do you know that?
Well, no one does.
No, have you read that somewhere? Have you just guessed?
No, I watched the same documentary as you yesterday.
That's true. Yeah, you were there.
Fell asleep.
Yeah, you must have watched it while I was asleep. Yeah, it was riveting, really riveting. So, according to Plato, he did give a few details there, and it seemed to sort of point in the directions of the Straits of Gibraltar.
Well,
even though they said Atlantic Ocean, there's the Straits of Gibraltar. So we're talking there, the Mediterranean, and
because he mentioned about it never used to be like a just water there. It used to be land linking.
Yeah. So
but now what they're saying though is that it's not necessarily out at sea. It's on land. It's just buried underground.
Yeah, which is really totally against everything you've previously thought and how you would imagine.
People, even if they found something there, people would go, no, it's not Atlantis because...
Can't be. because
It's not underwater.
yeah, there's not people living.
And
in
I'll
it.
be honest, if they found it and it wasn't underwater, I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, to a certain extent, yeah, because you've got this image of what it should be. And we'll come on to it, but there are plenty of examples of cities that have been submerged into the water for whatever reason. And
Venice.
you can dive... Well, Venice is a good example of how things have gone. You know, it's an incredible place to walk around, and it is sinking.
Yeah.
Year by year, it's sinking. I mean... They're doing a lot of work to try and keep it all literally afloat.
Yeah. Like
But-
boys and stuff.
Anyway, yeah, lots of boys helping to do it.
So, because when I was watching that documentary yesterday,
Yeah,
whilst you were sleeping,
yeah,
they were talking about these other cities that could potentially be Atlantis.
yeah. Flies back.
Yeah, flies back. I thought you were going to continue speaking whilst I looked at the fly, but you just didn't.
Well, so basically,
Where'd it go?
I don't know. So it could be anywhere. That's what I'm really on edge.
I'm going to turn the light on so I can see it clearer.
Oh, are you? I'm really on edge at the moment. It might fly near the light as well. So Plato talks about the Atlantic Ocean, but also talks about the Mediterranean and perhaps the Gibraltar. The Canary Islands and Madeira Islands are talked about.
Like the cake.
Yep. And not the bird. As I said, the Canary Islands.
Oh, sorry.
Mediterranean. I've spelt it like that. It's got so many R's and A's in it. I don't
There's an
know what happened
earthquake
there.
whilst you're writing it.
Yeah. Antarctica has been cited as a place it might be. The Caribbean.
Or, if
Indonesia.
you're from America, the Caribbean.
Caribbean. And
we do an episode in the Caribbean.
We haven't,
We
no.
did one on pirates, though, didn't we?
We did. And one of the places that I wasn't surprised to see come up was the Bermuda Triangle.
Because that's where all cities go and disappear.
That's where everything goes to. That's where my wallet went
No
some
one's
years
worried
back.
about the Bermuda Triangle anymore.
Well, plenty of things go through it used to be a real. It got to the point where there's a lot of superstition in the sailing community, in the navy, and things like that. There's a lot of superstition still there, and routes would go to avoid that area because of so many problems being.
You can go on holiday there.
I know you can. And plenty of things go through that area without any problem whatsoever. But there does seem to have been, and this is slightly off topic, but there does seem to have been some sort of, and it's purely down to, it's not a big whirlpool that opens up and people come in, but there's some magnetic interferences with people's equipment. So planes thought they were higher than they were and would ditch into the water, and they've found planes there, and ships. You know, they do find.
Could this have been a podcast?
Yeah, well, that's coming soon. Bermuda Triangle. Bermuda Triangle. Try looking from my angle.
Nice.
No, that's not mine either. That's not mine either. No, no, that's I think that might be what's his face? Funny face man.
David
Barry
Bowie?
Manilow. That's it.
Oh.
David Bowie.
He wore face paint.
But there's all these different places.
There
right?
are lots of different places.
And when
in
you
the world.
start looking at the actual submerged cities, some of them are in those sort of places, so that it's easy to
Like
see why
Antarctica.
some people have thought that. Huh?
like Antarctica,
Well, I don't know about Antarctica
how about
because I didn't
Madeira
know.
cake?
Or that particularly.
How
But
about
I'll come
Canary
from-
Islands?
Well, I don't know. Perhaps you could stick with me. I know you didn't want to be on this journey in the first place, but perhaps you could just sort of just jump in for a few stops, but don't sit opposite me. Lots of writers are taking it forward.
That was clever, what you said there, because it was referring back to What's Got My Goat.
Yeah, it was. It was
And it was
good,
a
eh?
clever, subtle little joke that people may or may not pick
yeah.
up on. But I like the subtleness of it, and rather than make it too obvious.
Thank you.
It's
But
all right.
now you've gone on about it, kind of, sort of. Anyway, so what is basically
It's very
what I said a
clever.
bit earlier on is about Atlantis. It is still, whether it's out of all these ones that have actually been found, and that one hasn't, and it's possibly not even, it doesn't exist, you still see everything else referred to as, you know, Japan's Atlantis. You know, I don't know, Bolivia's Atlantis.
In
It's
fairness,
always
though-
because Atlantis now means it lost city in the
It's
water.
anonymous
such
almost,
it.
isn't
Yeah.
it? But this is the thing as well. You get that with a lot of different things. Like, do you remember when they were going to open up a theme park, Paramount theme park in Kent,
Yeah.
and everyone was referring it as the UK's Disneyland. Do you mean it flies on your paper? Oh, it's gone.
Flies on my paper.
But yeah, it was,
But it's like that, yeah. And the same with something like Nessie. You get,
I thought you better say Nestle then.
you know, the US's
Nesquik
Nessie
cereal.
version of Nessie, and it's all like that. But I guess it shows that
Bigfoot.
that particular thing has reached such a level that it's part of our language. It's part of our, language. Anyway, I've done that so many times before and I can't think of another word for it. So also that
Speaking.
people have got, and this has got to such a stage now that people have got psychics and pseudoscientists in to actually try and find out where Atlantis is, and
Psychic?
like a psychic to try and
Yeah. They need a medium, really, don't they?
they do need a medium,
Just to
or
find the
even
dead people in
you know,
Atlantis to let them know where Atlantis is.
yeah, extra large. Now, actually, those days everybody was quite small, weren't they?
Yeah.
So it's quite possible for a landmass to be submerged, and it happens for many, many reasons, doesn't it? So you've got seismic activity, so you've got volcanoes, you've got earthquakes, you've got which will cause other problems. So that can happen.
You've read out seismic
Yeah.
things, haven't you?
Yes, and eruptions and things like that, and seismic activities as well, again. So I've got a few examples of places that actually are there, that have been found. I don't know, in varying degrees of how difficult it is to reach these places, but, so for instance...
Can you give them to me in alphabetical order?
Or holy moly.
Can you give me them in order of least funny name to funniest name?
Okay, least funny name to funniest name.
Weren't expecting this week.
Actually, one of them's only in here because it's funny. So Port Royal in Jamaica in 1690.
Did you almost call it Jabunka?
Jabunka. That's what it used to be called. It's a bit like Caribbean.
They used to have Rick and Nom in
Yeah, exactly.
Jabunka.
Jabunka. So Port Royal in Jamaica. In 1692, a massive earthquake followed by a tsunami killed over 2,000 people and submerged a city which was known as the wickedest city on earth. Right?
Wickedest.
Wickedest. Yeah. Yeah, wicked. Because it was home to pirates, basically.
Oh, right.
And people at that time saw the city...
Jamaica in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Caribbean. City's sinking was seen as an act of God, right, by many. But all the pirates did was sail up the coast a bit and go somewhere else.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, luckily, the classic thing with pirates,
Yeah.
generally got boats.
Yeah, that's
So-
yeah.
City sinking isn't too much of a big deal.
So
for them.
then there's a place called Thonis, Heracleion, and Alexandria in Egypt, two lost cities that have been well documented, and many relics have been recovered and identified, although little is known about how either of them were submerged. But again, Alexandria, obviously you've got Alexandria, but it's in a different place to how it used to be. You start watching things like Indiana Jones and they talk about the fact that it was in one place and now it's moved because they're looking for it in a different place, sort of thing. And this has happened, and that isn't a very, very funny name. Then we've got Villa Epaquan in Argentina, one of the youngest examples of a sunken city.
Slightly more amusing than the others.
Yeah, a tourist resort. I put result, but it's a tourist resort that was affected over time by unusual weather events, which eventually saw it abandoned and swallowed up by the floods. So this is a more recent thing, but again, it's just, the same sort of things are happening around the globe. There's still volcanic eruptions, there's still seismic activities, which are the two things I was going to say there. Right, so then I'm looking at what we've got, what about Baia, B-A-I-A in Italy?
That sounds like a spring.
Baia. Another wicked city, but not pirates, but Romans this time. Dubbed the Las Vegas of ancient Rome, volcanic activity leveled this city.
So maybe it did have an Atlantis casino.
Who dubbed it the Las Vegas of ancient Rome?
The person who did the voiceover.
Because basically, they wouldn't have known about Las Vegas in ancient Rome, would they? So it must have been someone more recent. Historians would have...
Historians have dubbed it.
Oh, right. Well, that should have
When
been
they
more
did the
clear
voiceover
when
for
they
horrible
whispered in my ear and I typed this out. Right, okay. So that was another one that was because of volcanic activity. Now, that's what we've got now because you've made this more complicated for me. What about Yonaguni-jima in Japan?
That's a good one.
What looks like an ancient civilization. There are pyramid structures, staircases, and all sorts of other structures in the water. That has not been investigated. I think there's some issues with being able to get down there to see it, but there certainly is stuff there. As you can see, not quite as much information. And then you've got Dwarka in India, an ancient city discovered submerged 100 feet below the Gulf of Cambay in 1988. Excuse me.
You got upset about that one, didn't you?
What occurred to me about that one? It's 1988, so you know I know that's some years ago now, but they're still finding these things. I'm sorry. I've got a bit emotional about that one. And the last one I've got here of this sort is Takina, right? Which you might not think is a particularly funny name.
It sounds a bit like
Sorry, I'm really sorry. No, I've kind of... You might have to talk in a minute.
It sounds like a drink.
But Takina is on Lake Titicaca in Bolivia, right? As soon as you said about that, I thought, well, I'll save that one to the last one. Temples, roads and walls found in this found all Inca in origin. But that's in Lake Titicaca.
Nice, I like it.
Right.
Apologies about the brief pause there. Dad was being dramatic.
I was being slightly dramatic. Let's not talk about it because
he coughed,
he might...
and then he blew his nose, and then he panicked that he might have a nosebleed, but he didn't.
No, but there we go. Better to be safe than sorry, eh? So where were we?
He also blew off in my chair.
Oh, you didn't have to say that, did you?
Did though, didn't I?
You did say it, yeah. Well, we were talking about the other examples of... in inverted commas, Atlantises around the world.
But I do wonder to myself, there must be more places that might be underwater, but maybe purposeful.
Well, that's funny you should think that, because there are other reasons for this, for people deliberately recoursing water, or where dams have gone up that obviously it dramatically affects some places. And there's been various examples of cities, or not so much cities actually, more towns.
That was a very nice sound.
Yeah, I know, sorry. Towns that have had to be displaced as such. So I've got a few examples here, very quickly. Ontario, Canada. I'm not doing these in an order of funny names. The St. Lawrence Seaway and hydroelectric project in the 1950s meant that 9 villages were lost. Some buildings were removed that had some significant, perhaps the age of them or something. They tried to take stuff away from there, but most are still underwater there. Now, I find that really weird. I mean, obviously, all the people moved out, and it's a ghost town, and it's right at the bottom of the lakes, and the reservoirs, and that's really, really weird. There's a place called Lago di Valgli in Italy, in the Tuscan countryside. A 12th century town was submerged in 1953. Again, around the same sort of time, I think that's when this started becoming something for people to do. Every so often, the reservoir is drained for maintenance, and the ancient medieval village appears looking as pristine as it did centuries ago. How weird is that? And one that I found really interesting, especially as I'm going to be near there next week when I go up to see your sister, and then we go for a week's holiday.
David's mum.
David's mum. Derwent, Derbyshire, England. Lady Bower Reservoir.
The home of the Pencil Museum.
The home of the Pencil Museum.
Will you be visiting the Pencil Museum when you were there?
It depends if we've got time, but if I do...
Depends, no, pencil.
Yeah. Oh, depends. No, it depends. Yes, I think maybe we will take a little look. And I'll buy some huge novelty pencil for you.
So will it be to be or not to be?
It might be a HB, not a 2B.
No.
Anyway, so the Lady Bow Reservoir, during hot, dry summers, the water levels can get so low that you can wander through the usually submerged village.
Oh, that's quite cool.
So you can, I'm
so
imagining...
it might be there, you can go.
So, yeah, I don't know if we've had that drier, but there's a possibility that I find that really strange. I mean, I can understand that they do it and they move, everybody gets relocated and all the rest of it. But to look out, and I've been to places like that.
The Pencil Museum?
No, the reservoirs. Apparently,
right.
I was talking to your mum earlier, and she said Hanningfield, which is quite near to us, has a similar thing. It's not a town, but there are structures that it was flooded on top and the reservoir was created. And when it's been really low, you can actually see those. So I'm going to go to those sort of places when I'm up in Derbyshire, and you never know, I might see a lost city.
It wouldn't be a podcast about Atlantis without a musical number to explain Atlantis or the stories from Atlantis. I don't know what the song's about.
Right, I'll tell you what the song's about.
Yep.
The song is about being a resident of Atlantis.
Now or then?
Being a resident of Atlantis, a submerged Atlantis.
Ah.
So a little bit of artistic license used as a little community living under the water.
Community of who?
Of people.
Humans?
Well, yeah. That sort of thing, anyway.
Guild humans?
What?
Guild humans.
What does that mean?
Got guilds.
Oh, guild humans, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
But I've written a
Green?
song about how... No. I've written a song
Scales.
about... Shut up. This happens every time we get this. I've written a song about how that might not be the ideal place to live. So if you'd like to play my song now, that would be very much appreciated.
Okay. What's the song called?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I think it's called Wetter's Not Better, but I'm not 100% sure.
This sounds reasonable. We'll go with it.
All my beer is watered down and my peanuts float away. My garden's full of seaweeds. It's the same old wetness every day. My TV set stopped working and I'm sick to death of fish. I can't remember being warm. I cannot take much more of this. In Atlantis, it's impossible to dry your socks. In Atlantis, the roads are full of seashells, paradise it's not. There's urchins in my cereal, barnacles inside my bed. My bath is full of kangaroos. It's really messing with my head. I'm the city's only postman, and my days are all the same. My letters are all soaking wet. I can barely read the people's names. In Atlantis, the toilets are a sight to see. In Atlantis, try playing pool, now that's what I call irony. just the perfect choice when you spend your days being cold and moist. I trade all my riches to not have to swim in everybody's business.
Game time.
I like that song.
Do you like that?
Yep. I have a question though. How could people get fed up with the fish?
I think if you were with fish all the time, you might get a bit bored of it. I don't know.
It's easy to see though how someone get fed up with their socks never being dry.
Oh, I'd get
But
really
would you-
annoyed
would
if
you
you
care
were just
if you're in water
if you
anyway?
were permanently moist. I mean,
Very wrinkly.
yes, you get very wrinkly. Yeah, I just think it would be too much in the end. Mess with you.
Yeah. Game?
There is a game. I've written a quiz. It's a multiple choice quiz, as per usual. I didn't have a huge amount of time to put this quiz together, and that's not an excuse.
How long did you have?
And not a huge amount of time. And I couldn't really do it exactly. I had all these different ideas of what I wanted to do. And let's not beat around the bush. I just chose one of them. So if you'd like to play my sting, and then I'll explain a little bit more.
Okay.
Head scratches and unusual cases. Here's some things found in very odd places.
What a lovely sting.
Did you like that? Did
Yes.
you? So I've took the fact that Atlantis it's strange for a city to be under the sea.
Unless you live under the sea.
Unless you live under the sea. So my quiz is about
Ariel.
weird things found in unusual places.
No way.
Away. You won't believe this when we
Yeah,
get
so
going.
it's not really going to be cities.
No, it's nothing like that at all. It's basically about weird things that are
Basically
found
things
in
where-
unusual places.
Things that shouldn't be where...
Shouldn't be where they are.
Yeah.
Or
okay.
you're surprised that they're there.
Will I be shocked at every single one?
I don't know. We'll
Do you
see.
reckon I stand a chance with this quiz? I could
Yeah,
actually
I
work
do.
it out
I reckon you'll be able to get some of them. Okay,
by
question
pure
one.
luck of it being multiple choice.
Whilst examining a museum piece, curators decided to do a CT scan on a Buddha statue. But what did the CT reveal inside the statue? Was it A, 15 more Buddha statues in decreasing size? Was it
interesting?
Was it B, a dead monk? Or was it C, cocaine with a street value of $1.5 million?
Now the C is a very common, a very good chance it could happen. Be interesting for
But
the
this is in a museum,
to
though.
get hold of that. I'm going to go for the dead monk.
You're going to go for B, a dead monk.
B, dead monk.
That is correct.
Nice.
What it was,
Not nice, sorry.
basically, it's happened before, but monks would mummify themselves by modifying their diet and then being sealed in a statue while meditating until their death. So basically,
Oh.
as part of that, as part of being so dedicated to it, that's what they do. And I've seen pictures of it. There was a monk inside this Buddha statue in a sort of meditation sort of stance.
That's
Bit grim,
yeah,
really, isn't it?
is.
But anyway,
Suicide, basically, isn't it?
Should have gone for the Russian Buddhas.
I don't understand because it's suicidal, really, and I don't understand how that can be appeasing.
Yeah, but it's not about. It's
their-
about having
their
a
faith.
conscience on a different plane to other people. You know.
British Airways.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah. Right now. Question 2.
That's a different kind of conscience, Rona.
While on holiday in a Swedish resort, an 8-year-old girl found what while swimming in a lake? Did she find A 1,500-year-old Viking sword, B, a Billy bookcase, or C, a severed head wearing a top hat?
I find the Billy bookcase one funny because it's Swedish.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, no, you didn't think of that, no,
No.
when you wrote it.
So what did that 8-year-old girl find in the lake?
The severed head would
A
be
sword,
really
a
weird.
bookcase, or a severed head wearing a top hat?
What kind of sword? A Viking sword?
A Viking sword.
Well, I wouldn't say that'd be a weird place to find it then. So I'm going to go for the severed head wearing a top hat.
That is incorrect. It's a 1,500-year-old Viking sword.
Hell!
Right? But it was in like
you
in
said
really
weird
good condition.
things in odd places.
It was in a lake. You don't often get swords in lakes, do you?
Yeah, but where were the Vikings based?
Okay. Oh, well, I'm getting there.
countries.
I'm getting there. Anyway, let's move on to question 3 then. After purchasing a locker, a man discovered an old
missold.
burner barbecue. But what was in the barbecue? Was it
Severed
A,
head wearing a top hat.
a leg wrapped up in a newspaper?
A leg.
A leg wrapped up in a newspaper?
What kind of leg?
B, sausages, steaks and burgers from 20 years previous? Or C, a severed head wearing a fez?
Said I ruined your joke.
So what
Now
we're
I
gonna
actually don't know, because would you write it twice if it actually was?
Well,
A leg wrapped up in a newspaper.
you're going for a leg wrapped up in a newspaper.
Yes.
That is correct. They managed to contact the mother of the previous owner. I couldn't get hold of the previous owner, but the mother of the previous owner of the locker. Apparently, he lost his leg in a plane crash and forgot he'd left it in the barbecue.
Oh, so it was it his real leg?
Yep.
Not his prosthetic.
So I've got a couple of questions on
Did he
that.
leave
about
it
the
in a
old
barbecue?
Well, why did he bring it home from the plane crash?
Why did he bring over the plane
Right,
crash?
and then why did he pop it in the barbecue in some newspaper?
Surely they would have known he had one leg. Like they would have tried to contact this guy and gone, "Oh yeah, he's only got one leg."
No,
That
they
must
didn't
be his
know.
other
They
one.
didn't know. They,
Although you'd always check, though, to be fair, wouldn't you?
yeah.
And why is
Perhaps
it
it
wrapped
was
in
a different
newspaper?
leg. Perhaps it was a.
But why was it left in a barbecue? Oh,
That's what I'm saying. This isn't called obvious things left in.
this was the
really-
most weird one.
Right,
so
okay.
far.
Okay. That was question 3. Question 4. In another bizarre locker incident, what was
all lockers from here on out.
what was found in a box that caused alarm? Was it A, a boa constrictor with a note saying, "This is Feather. He keeps the rat population down. Best leave him to it"? Was it B, a severed head wearing a fireman's helmet with a note saying, "Careful, low door frames"? Or was it C, a live hand grenade with a note saying, "Careful, live hand grenade"? I told you I was very tired doing
He was
this.
in a box in a locker.
So it was a box in a locker, and when it was opened, was there a boa constrictor in there with a note saying, "This is Feather, he keeps the rat population down, but best leave him to it"? Was it a severed head wearing a fireman's helmet with a note saying, "Careful, low door frames"? Or was it a live hand grenade with a note saying, "Careful, live hand grenade"?
The hand grenade.
It was a hand grenade.
I like the idea of a snake called Feather, though.
Yeah, Feather boa.
Oh, nice. I see it now.
Yeah, that's why I called it Feather. Okay, question
You
5.
call it Feather.
Yeah, because it was made up.
Well,
The other ones are made up.
no, it's for definite.
This is how I work. Right.
Severed head.
So, question 5. After buying an Iraqi tank from eBay, the new owner started to find unusual things hidden around the vehicle. Well, what did he find in the diesel tank? Diesel tank of the tank. Was it A, custard which is a delicacy in Iraq? Was it B, 5 gold bars? Or was it C, 2 Iraqi men?
2 Iraqi men.
It was 5 gold bars, not 2 Iraqi men. How would they get in there?
I thought I might have stuffed them in. Chopped them
that's
into
true.
little pieces.
Severed.
There was no 7 heads in that one.
No, there wasn't. Question 6. A Massachusetts man who already was suffering with various ailments due to his age was rushed into hospital due to a collapsed lung. But on examination, what did the doctors / surgeons find?
Why were they stroking the surgeons?
They do that before then. It just calms them down. Was it A, a pea plant? Was it B, a ballpoint pen? Or was it C, a small Mexican figurine?
Where was this found?
In the lung of this patient.
A ballpoint pen.
You think it's a ballpoint pen?
Yes.
It was a pea plant.
Be fair, ballpoint pen.
It
would be
almost
difficult to
like
swallow.
some urban myth. He'd obviously,
Just
when people say it's gone down the wrong
urban
hole, but that a pea had gone down into his air hole, his trachea, is it called? And down into his lung, and actually, because of the moistness in the lung, had germinated.
Wind hole, I think it's called.
Wind hole. The wind hole. There we go. Question 7. When a family from Florida didn't pay their locker bill, there's a lot of locker stories in this. When they didn't pay their locker bill and subsequently had their locker and contents confiscated, what unusual thing was found? Was it A, their dead grandma? Was it B, 32 stuffed alligators? Or was it C, a large bucket of human teeth?
A large bucket of human teeth.
No, it was their dead grandma. She had been dead for 17 years, but they didn't want to at the expense of the funeral, so they put her in the lockup.
Oh.
How grim's that? Not as grim as a large bucket of human teeth, though. Question 8. We're nearly there. Keep going. I know you're flagging.
I get it, though. It's but the cost of the locker must have been quite expensive.
Well, they didn't pay it. That was the point.
And when
They
you say
got it all
locker,
confiscated.
you don't mean like lockers you find in like train stations? You mean like
No,
lockups?
I'm talking about the sort of program. What was that program you used to watch?
Storage Hunters.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Hey, with your new sunglasses, you look like you should be on that show.
Oh, maybe I should have warned them to do this. Oh, I missed a trick there.
Yeah, would you be able to read it?
Question 8. No. Yes, because they're only mirrored on the outside. They're not mirrored on the inside.
You just see your eyes. No, I get that, but it'd be dark.
Question 8. When a woman started tucking into a salad she'd bought and found a barely alive frog in it, what did she do? Did she A, eat it? Did she B, perform CPR on it, saving its life? Or did she C, throw it away and opened a packet of crisps / chips which had half a mouse in it?
Open the crisps.
No. She performed CPR on the frog, saving its life, and they now have it as a pet.
They have it as a pet. Wow. She kept it. Did she say anything to the pet where she bought the salad? Or?
Yes, she did. Apparently, I think it was in America. It was Walmart or something like that. And she tried to get money from them, tried to get compensation. They were having none of it. And to this day, she's never received anything.
But how they're not paying for their part of the child support for the frog?
No. Okay, penultimate question. Question 9. After a father died, a daughter started to clear out his loft. That's not a euphemism. And in the process, found an unusual box with contents relating to Charlotte Bronte. But what was in the box? My first question to you there is, and I don't mean this, do you know who Charlotte Bronte is?
No.
Right, Charlotte Bronte was a writer. She wrote Jane Eyre.
Okay.
Right. Very, very famous book.
I've heard of it.
I studied it in English literature.
Never read it. What's it about?
It's about a young woman who's kind of... there's a fella that sort of has got his wife locked up in a mad wife locked up in a loft, but he sort of seduces her, and it's a bit of a triangle of all that. Anyway,
Okay. Thank you.
so his daughter found an unusual box with contents relating to Charlotte Bronte. But what was in the box? Was it A, an unpublished follow-up to Jane Eyre? So I'm glad we went through all that. Was it B, a thumbnail and a glass eye? Or was it C, a ring and some human hair?
Thumbnail and a glass eye.
Unfortunately, you're incorrect there. It was a ring and some human hair. The woman took it to the Antique Roadshow, where they checked its authenticity and told it was worth a fortune. So it was actually hair from Charlotte Bronte, because they were
Antiques Roadshow.
Antiques Roadshow they took it to.
Weird place to take that, I feel, still.
Well,
Antiques Roadshow.
I guess if it was in the area where she would have lived, it would have been of local interest. They do that quite often, don't they? And they brought it in, and it was done like that.
Sure,
anyway.
I should keep some of my hair just in case.
Well, it's pretty much everywhere anyway, isn't it? I'll just go out to the sink.
That's clean now.
I know. And
'Cause you
here's your
trimmed your beard.
last question.
Nice beard, but nice haircut, by the way.
Thank you. Nice haircut, by the way.
Thank you.
We usually do that at the beginning,
Yeah.
don't we? We've got to say that. Question 10.
We record it when we've got a haircut that
Yeah.
day.
In 2006, 2 hikers stumbled across what sticking out of a beaver's dam?
Damn what?
A beaver's dam.
Damn what?
Was it A, an aeroplane's propeller? Was it B, a false leg? Or was it C, a severed head wearing a sombrero? It's the return of the severed head.
Here's the return of the severed head. I feel like I'm going to say, I reckon the person who lost it was absolutely stumped, because I think it was the fault
Wow,
of the leg.
you're making a sort of amputee joke there in such bad taste. That is correct.
Yes.
They retrieved it and managed to trace its owner, who had lost it on a fishing trip a month earlier and had put up advertisements about if anybody sees my leg. And what I find absolutely hilarious and also charming about this is, because as we've spoken before, we're big lovers of beavers. We're big fans.
Big beaver lovers.
Big beaver lovers. Those beavers have been beavering around looking for things to make up their dam, and have seen an artificial leg and carried it back and put it as part of their dam. And I think that's a lovely image of a leg sticking out of there. I think that's really good.
I also find it, or it's been a prank that they just took it away from this guy.
Well, and just gave it.
Yeah.
And that is the end of my little quiz about weird things found in unusual places.
To do with the Atlantis.
Yeah. Did you enjoy that?
I did, actually. I thought it was a good quiz.
It's a good quiz, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I liked that. I enjoyed that once I got going. Okay. Well, that's me done. Yet another one we've finished.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Nearly finished. There's a couple more bits to cover. Isn't it?
All right, okay.
Yeah.
What would you like to cover
Well, firstly,
before we say goodbye?
I just want to say emails.
Yeah.
So, just to let you all know,
We haven't had
we
any.
hadn't any.
I thought I could put money on that.
But
I'm going to send one.
you can send us a message via the website, fatherandsundays.com, and go to the contact us page, or email us at contact@fatherandsundays.com. But the website, fatherandsundays.com, all the websites available there. All the episodes are available on there. But you can also find them on your chosen podcast platform: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, follow, share those. Yeah. If you do want to get an advert-free version of this podcast, you can do so at fatherandsundays.plus.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think so.
Okie dokie. Well, if that's it, I hope everybody's okay. I hope you all have a good week. And
There's a charity page on the website as well. You can donate to charity.
excellent. Yeah.
me doing
I've
climbing
already
a
done that.
skyscraper
I
and
might do
upside
it
down
again.
the side
Yeah.
of it.
Yep, excellent stuff. That's going to be great. I think we should do a podcast from the event.
Nope.
No?
That sounds too difficult.
All right, we won't do that then. Okay, we'll just stick to flyers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Podcast about flies coming soon.
Coming soon.
Again, like we said, don't know what next week's episode will be, if there will be one.
Okay, but we shall see. We shall
See you in
what we
episode
shall
108, whatever.
Okay.
Whenever it may be. Well, if it's not next week, it'll be the week after.
see. Okay, so it's a bye from me.
Bye!